Hello, today I will read Numbers chapter 9. In the chapter 8 it was setting up the lamps and setting apart of the Levites. And now let's see what's next. Um the Lord spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they came out of Egypt. So, second year. First month. Month 1. He said, have the Israelites celebrate the Passover at the appointed time. Celebrate it at the appointed time at twilight on the 14th day of this month in accordance with all its rules and regulations. So Moses told the Israelites to celebrate the Passover. So on the 14th day 14th. So Moses told the Israelites to celebrate the Passover, and they did so in the desert of Sinai at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord commanded Moses. But some of them could not celebrate the Passover on that day because they were ceremonially unclean on account of a dead body. So they came to Moses and Aaron that same day and said to Moses, we have become unclean because of a dead body. Maybe someone died and they were buried. That person, or I don't know. But why should we be kept from presenting the Lord's offering with the other Israelites at the appointed time? Moses answered them, wait until I find out what the Lord commands concerning you. So if we have difficult tasks or things that we didn't realize that the question can come from that, and the situation can go in that direction. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites, when any of you or your descendants are unclean because of a dead body or are away on a journey, they may still celebrate the Lord's Passover. They are to celebrate it on the 14th day on the second month at twilight. They are to eat the lamb together with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They must not leave any of it till morning or break any of its bones. When they celebrate the Passover, they must follow all the regulations. But if a man who is ceremonially clean and not on a journey fails to celebrate the Passover, that person must be cut off from his people because he did not present the Lord's offering at the appointed time. That man will bear the consequences of his sin. Wow. That person must be cut off from his people. But if a man who is ceremonially clean and not on a journey fails to celebrate the Passover, that person must be cut off from his people because he did not present the Lord's offering at the appointed time. There is no joke with God. Even a celebration. But if you don't celebrate, you should be cut off from the people. It was very... to celebrate the Passover, it was it was meaning that God escaped them from the Egypt, and there was a shadow from the Jesus Christ when he came on earth, and he dies for us, and he make a redemption for all of who believes in his word and in his sacrifice and in him. So if you don't celebrate that, if you don't recognize that, or yeah, at that time, if you didn't recognize that, you should be dead, cut off. That man will bear the consequences of his sin. An alien living among you who wants to celebrate the Lord's Passover must do so in accordance with its rules and regulations. You must have the same regulations for the alien and the native born. On the day the tabernacle even an alien who is living there, they should celebrate the Passover, the Lord's Passover. Let's continue with the next part. On the day the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony, was set up, the cloud covered it. From evening till morning, the cloud above the tabernacle looked like fire. Wow. That is how it continued to be. The cloud covered it, and at night it looked like fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the tent, the Israelites set out. Wherever the clouds settled, the Israelites camped. At the Lord's command, the Israelites set out, and at his command they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, they remained in camp. When the cloud remained over the tabernacle a long time, the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order and did not set out. Sometimes the cloud was over the tabernacle only a few days. At the Lord's command, they would encamp. And then at his command, they would set out. Yeah, they were looking at the cloud to see what they should be, what they should do, to stay, to remain, or to continue the journey. Whether the cloud stayed over the tabernacle for 2 days or a month or a year, the Israelites would remain in camp and not set out. But when it lifted, they would set out. Wow. So they should be wake up. They should be aware, and they should target that cloud target. To look at the cloud every day, every morning. Of course, there were lots of them, and they were speaking with each other. So you could live. I mean, you have children, you have family, you have work to do, work to do, to make food, to sleep, to work to do, not very much, but yeah. But when they were calling each other if the cloud lifted or not. At the Lord's command they encamped, and at the Lord's command they set out. They obeyed the Lord's order in accordance with his command and through Moses. So when God say wait, well, what do we do? When God say continue, when God say wake up and do that, wake up and do this, what would you do? Oh God, I'm too tired. Oh God, oh God, I cannot stay anymore. I cannot support anymore. I go. But if God say, stay. In the name of the God I go. But what if God said to you, stay here, wait for me. I believe in God, I trust in God, and I go. But what if God say, stay here. I have plans to do with you here. What would you do? I cannot stay anymore. I'm so frustrated. I'm so... What would you do? We must obey the God's order if we want to do and to make this life with the best results, to take out the best results from this life, because God have a plan with each of us, not just a plans and yeah, but in general speaking, a plan, and he knows if we follow his command, we will even maybe we have no plans, or maybe we made our plans in our thoughts, in our mind. In this life I do this. But what if God's plan are different with you? And what if you have no plan and God for sure have a plan with each of us? And that should be every day. How we realize or how we recognize that we live in God's will, when we listen to him, when we do what, even if our minds and our ways of thinking, maybe I would do this, I would do that, but maybe I try to avoid this and I try to avoid that. I want something else, I want something more. Stop. What if God wants things that you don't want to do? And you just try to avoid them, and oh God, I'm suffering. Yeah, maybe because you don't care about God's will, but maybe you have an excuse like, I didn't hear with my ears. I didn't, the God's voice, or maybe yes, but in general maybe we didn't, but we can, I'm not sure if in general, maybe more than we think, they heard God's voice. And yeah, but how you hear God's voice? Maybe in yourself there is a will, there is something that maybe you try to avoid it, I'm talking about myself a bit. I was trying to avoid to go to school, to continue the normal life, to work, to be hired, and to be a labor, or um, I wanted something else. I wanted from life, God, I want you to be my purpose, and I wanted to go out from my country and to maybe to never come back. But what if God said, what if God's plan, yeah, I'm speaking to me, in my example, I mean, in my life, God told me, stay here. God, I even gave up at school, at high school, 2 times. I wanted to give up from this country or a family, which is a very good family, but I wanted. Oh, I'm a major. I have my own decisions, and the most important, I want God. But what if God is here? And I was looking for God. I was looking for God outside. Was He more than here? Maybe in some way that He took care of me, that He was with me, that I survived and nothing bad happened, and even if I saw that it's not an easy life, but still God was with me, and still in the last part of my life, I tried I decided to follow the way, to follow this. I think it's God's voice in me, in myself, in my decisions. It's God's way, it's God's will, it's God's plan in my mind, my thinkings, my and I think I live partially, maybe only partially, but I want entire. I think I live God's will. God's will for myself nowadays. I mean, right now. I don't know what will happen next, and we must know just the next step, and that's more than enough, I think. What's the use for us to see all the God plan? What if we would not understand it? Only if we pass through every step, we realize that a next step is to be made, and and we understand maybe just the next step. Now maybe we would not understand it, everything. It's like a road, a trip. When I went through in my journeys, step by step, step by step, step by step. And I realized that the journey was the purpose, not the destination. And maybe in this life, the journey is the purpose. The journey is with full of things, it's like a story. you're writing your own story, and every step matter. Yeah, if we look at God and that God plans and what He created, it's beautiful. We will be amazed, and it's beautiful. That was the chapter. It was my explanations too, but they have a connection with the chapter. Okay, may the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too, and let's do God's will. Let's be in God's will every day. And let's do every step, every decision, even in each detail, with God. Let's not waste time anymore, and let's do the work of God. Let's live in God's will. Okay, may the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too, and if you want, you will see me there too. God bless you all, and goodbye.